conversation. Hey, yo, let's chop it up, man. Hey, yo, let's have a conversation. Hey, yo, may I interject? It's about time for communal reconnect. Power of the we in some type of context. Working on the us so we can hit up what's next. It's that grown brother, grown sister type of flex. More like soul check, not just collecting checks. Fact, not feelings is what we got on deck. Take the high road, so this here is high tech. Getting to the real, very thing that we hitting on. Pull up or sit down, tell me what you sipping on. Reclaiming kinghood, that is what we getting on. Real headlines is what we spitting on. So, hey now, yo, let's have a conversation. Maybe take a sec to talk on what we facing. Only way to change is to change the situation. How about we break bread now and have a conversation? Hey now, yo, let's have a conversation. Maybe take a sec to talk on what we facing. Only way to change is to change the situation. How about we break bread now and have a conversation? Let's have a conversation. Hey, yo, let's have a conversation. Have a conversation. Have a conversation.
What do you mean?
You said respectable.
Do you find black men respectable?
Oh, yes.
In general, okay. All right. What about you, Miss Kendra and Miss Demesia? Do you guys find black men respectable in general?
Can I clarify that? So when you say respectable, you mean do they us as far as women respecting them?
No. Do you find them respectable? Do you find black men in general worthy of being respected or carry themselves in a respectable manner?
Yes.
Okay. So you believe the majority of black men are respectable men?
Yes.
Okay. Miss Demesia, do you believe that?
No.
Okay, why not?
A lot of them don't carry themselves in that manner. A lot of them see walking around with their tail hanging out their pants, treating women any kind of way, calling us everything but a child of God. I don't see it.
You don't see it? Okay. Let's see. All right. What do you guys define as a good black man?
I define a good black man as someone taking care of his responsibilities, respecting his woman, the children, and doing what he need to do, holding himself with his head high.
Okay. Miss Kendra?
I would say a good black man is one who knows himself, and one who is honest, one who is able to be honest. He knows himself and he takes care of himself and his business.
What do you mean by honest?
I think it's important for a man to be honest, or people in general, but especially, but men too. Like if there's something that they want, say it up front, say it when it comes to relationships or when it comes to whatever it is that they're trying to do or to be with themselves, or they should just be honest about it.
Okay.
It's something that's hard, right? Because a lot of times people aren't given the leeway to be themselves and to be honest. But at the end of the day, if you're not honest, then you're going to end up trying to be something that you're not, which is not going to work.
I mean, I hear a lot of times ladies talk about that they want men to be honest. And then when men express what they want out of you, then here comes the fight. Like, for example, and I'm just going to pick on something real quick. Like, for example, a lot of men have desired our women to be natural, to be natural, no big eyelashes, no clown makeup and stuff like that. And then when we request that of you, here comes the fight. You're being controlling. You're not my daddy. This is how you met me. All this that. So when guys hear from you ladies that you want us to be honest, we go, well, that's not being honest, because if we require something, we ask something of you that we're being brutal about, we get pushback. So I'm not necessarily sure if our ladies really want us to be honest with you or not.
You're right. There are a lot of people, men and women, who cannot take honesty. But I think that's the problem with a lot of relationships. If you're not able to be honest in a relationship, I don't care who you're with. If you're faking who you are and what you want, then at the end of the day, you're not going to be fulfilled and they're not going to be fulfilled either. So you're just in a relationship to say that you're in a relationship.
Okay. Ms. Demesia, what did you say as that you consider to be a good black man?
I would say a good black man is someone who knows who they are in general and can hold their own weight in the relationship or in general in life and just take care of themselves.
Okay. Follow-up question. Do black women have the right to define what a good black man is?
I think they have to define it for themselves. I think we can't go around judging people who don't fit our category, right? Because we all have different backgrounds. We all have different views on things. We can't judge people who don't fit our category, but you do have to define that for yourself. You have to do what you want.
Go ahead. I hear a lot of times when women are talking about men and what men should do in their behaviors, a lot of times our women will always say, will lead with, a real man would blank, blank, blank. And I'm thinking to myself, who are you to judge what a real man is when you really haven't had one in your life? So I find that kind of interesting that a lot of, I asked that question for a reason, because a lot of our ladies will try to define what manhood is supposed to look like.
I feel that.
Yeah. Hold on a second, ladies.
I have a question. What about if a woman had a father as a real man figure in her life? Then how would you, would she have a say then?
It depends. What has to say how a man should be, like what a real man is. Well, my follow-up question to that, Jasmine, would be, and I hate answering a question with a question, but if you're a mother raising a boy, can you teach him how to be a man?
Okay, got you. I feel that.
I'm just saying. Yeah. I'm just saying. All right, Miss Jasmine, I'm gonna put you down for a second, and I'm gonna bring up Miss Lisa. Okay.
Okay.
All right. As soon as I find, okay, there's so many y'all on here. I've never had this many. Miss Lisa. Get my screen. Hey, I get my screen to act right. What is a good black man?
A man who accepts his responsibility, things that he creates in his life, who looks after his family and carries himself in an honorable way.
In an honorable way. I asked the question to you guys. Let me find it. A lot of you stated that that a lot of you answered that there were not a shortage of good black men out here, that there were not a shortage of them. If that's the case, then why are 75% of our women single?
I think I was one of the few who said no. So that's why I feel that way. Because there are so many single women doing it for themselves, that there has to be a shortage somewhere for women to have to do it on their own. Yeah.
Ms. Demesia, how would you answer that? If they're not a shortage of, how did you answer that? You said, is there a shortage of good black men? You said no. So do you think that there are a decent amount of good black men out here? But then how do you account for the fact that 75% of our women are single?
I think that there may be some good black men out there, but they're just not with black women. They're with other races and ethnicities.
What do you mean? Define with married to or just dating or a combination of both?
A combination of both.
Because only 3% of black men are actually with non-black women, according to blackdemographics.com, which tracks our marital data. So there's, I think, a lot. I think a lot of times we see our higher, more visible men, and we see them with, non-black women, and we kind of extrapolate that out. That we think that it's more common as we think, but it's not as common as you think. Most black men marry black women at an 89% rate. You are our choice of woman, believe it or not. And that's according to blackdemographics.com. I will probably reference them a lot throughout this stream, but I reference them so you guys can go check them out. And blackdemographics.com is a statistical warehouse for data on black people, including their income, where they're living. They got it broken down by your city, by your state, by your neighborhood, and it's a site run exclusively by black men. So I don't think they have any reason to not try to put out the most accurate data about us known out there. Okay, one quick follow-up. Do you guys believe that you belong to black men?
I don't like the idea of that kind of possession.
I'm sorry, you're kind of breaking up a little bit, Miss Lisa. I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I don't like the idea of that kind of possession type thinking.
Why not?
I think we belong to ourselves and we belong to God, and the rest of it is work it out amongst ourselves here.
Miss Lisa, do you believe in Christianity or Christian?
Yes, I was raised Christian.
You're raised Christian. So if you say you think we belong to God, but that's not what God did when he made woman. He gave woman to man.
I agree with that. But gave us as partners, not as possession.
As partners. We're
part of a relationship, not as somebody's possession. I guess I come at it at a different angle because I was raised by a very possessive father, and he saw me as property.
As property.
He saw me as his property until the day he died.
Okay, all right, lady. What do you ladies think? Do you think you belong to black men?
No.
Why not?
No, I'm not something to be owned, and you have to be careful with that. I think as an individual, it's easy to fall into that because I have felt that before, right? I have felt like I'm supposed to be this, and tried to fit into that mold of what someone else expected me to be, what someone else needed me to be, as far as that goes. But I'm not someone to put up on a pedestal and to be owned. Basically, we're all individuals, and we all have a right to our thoughts and opinions.
So you believe belonging to somebody equals ownership?
Using the term belong, yes.
Okay, I'm gonna get back to that in a second. Miss Blue Diamond, do black men belong to you? Or do you belong to a black man? Do you belong to a black man?
Yes.
Okay, why do you say yes?
Because I would go as far as history goes. We were taken from the black man and used and manipulated and treated as less than by other races. So I think that a black man will value us more than anyone else.
Okay, fair enough. Miss Demesia, do you believe that you belong to a black man?
I can see her point of view when she just said what Blue Diamond just said. I see that point of view, and I also see the point of view of not belonging to anyone, because if I'm gonna be with somebody to be married or anything of that nature, I think that we were gonna be equal. I don't see myself as being a position of anybody. When I think of a position, I think of maybe like this my cup. That's a possession to me. I'm not a possession to a man.
How do you? Let me ask this question: If in part what you're saying is you don't belong to a man, then how do you expect black men to have put themselves in harm's way to protect you?
I can see that too.
So I think that's I respect a black man in his position for being who he is. That there's no doubt about that. I think that's something that is often lacking in the black community. I think, the respect factor of black women to black men. But, so that is from my experience, that has been a man's responsibility to protect. But
so how can I, if it's my responsibility to protect you, how can I protect somebody that doesn't belong to me?
Exactly. Go ahead, Kendra.
No, you guys ready. Go ahead.
I would say that it more so for me, it's because that's whom we come from. If he took Adam's rib and made me, I belong to him. You know what I'm saying? I am of him. So that's who I belong to. That man that I am from.
Okay. Go ahead, Miss Kendra.
No, I was just gonna say, I think it's falling back, and this is I'm a very literal person, right?
Yeah.
So when you say belong, to me, that is definitely going back to a possession type of thing. A lot of times in a relationship, when someone feels that you are their possession, right, then it skews your relationship. It's hard to be in a relationship with someone who feels that they own you.
Do you think black men are territorial?
Some of them can be, yes.
You think some of us are territorial?
I think men in general by nature are
there you go.
Territorial, yes.
By nature, we are territorial. Yes. And just a little bit for discussion purposes, you ladies, when you are our ladies, we most of us do not look at it like we own you, like we own our car. You know what I mean? But you are ours. You know what I mean? And God forbid that anybody crosses our path and try to bring any disrespect or harm or less than and to you, and we will protect you like that. But that's why I ask, for a black woman, do you belong to black men? Because when I speak to other races of women, they don't make any bones about it. They flat out say yes, they belong to their men. It's just kind of interesting how our ladies look at that. Okay. All right. We got to keep moving because we still got a good ways to go. How would you define what an average black man is? What qualities do you think make up the average black man?
I would say the average black man is and I'm going to say this. I think that you guys are not able to be real. I think in a lot of ways, because you carry so much and because there's so much of an expectation, that men find it hard to be who they are, find it hard to be themselves. So, but I think in the majority of men that I have met, they're great people. You just have to allow them to be themselves and to be able to have that conversation and allow them to be who they are. Allow you guys to be who you are. Be open, be honest, be free. And I think that's what they want to be. It's just society has kind of stopped you from being that.
Okay. Miss Blue Diamond, how would you define what an average black man is?
One that is free. And in a sense of financially free, mentally free, emotionally free, because I see a lot of men harbor emotions They're told at a young age that don't be a sissy, don't cry, and that makes them hard as a person. So I think the average black man is, like Emmanuel Cole says, is misunderstood. They come off as aggressive because they're told not to express those emotions. Don't cry, and it's hard for them to show love because at times they may want to cry.
Okay. It's kind of interesting that you hold on. Let me get some of the other ladies up here before I make my comment. Miss Demesia, I'm gonna put you down for a second, and I'm gonna bring up Miss Kendra. Miss Kendra, go ahead and unmute for me.
Hey.
Hey. How would you describe the average black man?
Broken.
Go in that refrigerator.
Broken.
The average black man is broken?
Yeah.
Miss Kendra, why would you say that? Why would you say the average black man is broken?
Because society told them that they couldn't be human.
Because the society told them that they can't be human?
Yeah, they've told them not to feel. Just like Blue Diamond said, big boys don't cry. Suck it up. You being a punk. Don't be a sissy.
Okay.
Man up.
Ms.
So
Kendra,
as you hear that as
No, I was telling Miss Kendra I was going to put her down for a second.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
So you end up being with this. You meet this man and he's pretty much damaged, and he doesn't know how to feel. And when you try to have conversations with this man, it's like he goes numb. He shrugs it off. He doesn't really respond appropriately, and you're just like, I just told him how I feel about this, and this, and he does nothing. This, and then it takes that one tragedy or whatever to pretty much make him snap.
Yep.
And then all of those feelings start to spill over. So there's a lot of emotional damage that black men hold on to because they've been told by society to suck it up.
Interesting. Okay, real quick, Miss Coach Vivica B. We belong to one another. I expect provision and protection, but he also expects nature and peace. Absolutely. He expects just as much from me as I expect from him. Miss Coach Vivica B.
Come on, Coach.
That is that. There you go.
Yeah.
I'll give you an air horn for that. So it's kind of, I find it very interesting how you guys are describing the average black man. The average black man don't describe himself in terms of emotional development or anything like that, including the men that created blackdemographics.com. The average black man is single, childless, and earn enough money to be considered in the middle class. That's the average black regular old bro. Not broken, not trying to be a human being. The regular old brother. Is single, child, all around you.
I'm gonna need for you to point me.
They in Georgia. They all down in Atlanta somewhere. Because
actually, the average black man is actually, most of us are centrally located, small towns. Let me tell you guys something. Now that you said that, the number one thing I get from a lot of women is the fact that where are they? And I'm going to tell you guys something. Tell you ladies something. That's very insulting to most men, because because we say time and time again that the majority of black men are invisible to you ladies. The regular old bro is. I told a story a few weeks ago on this stream about how this CNA at my job, I work in a hospital, how she just sat around talking about that there are not that many black men that work in the hospital. We work on a night shift. I looked at her and said, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? This place is littered with black men. Ain't no black men here. You about one of a couple handful. On our break, I took that woman to every single floor, every single department, and introduced her to all these black men that work there. I'm talking from security guards to laboratory techs to the volume of black male nurses. You guys will be shocked how many black men nurses are in the medical field. I took her to the emergency room to show her the 2 black male doctors running the emergency room.
Mm-hmm.
The average,
I don't think we pay attention to them.
You don't.
It's the flash. It's the flash. If they don't have that come look at me sign around them, then we probably not seeing them. So that's what it is.
So to sit there and say that they're not around. One of my lady friends, I told her she has a daughter, 30 years old, looking for a man. You know what I told her? I told that girl, I said, go cook your best meal, wrap it up, go stand outside the Urban League at 5 o'clock. And when I said at quitting time, I said, you are going to see the employees walking out of the Urban League. The vast majority of them are black men, and they're single as French toast. All you got to do is stand there with something cute, open up that plate of food, let them see all that steam, and say, mama looking for a husband, and you're going to be able to fight them off with a stick. Y'all don't see.
Y'all got your pen?
Huh?
Write this down. I'm writing it down.
Yeah, write it down. Write it down.
You know?
Let me go ahead and whip some up.
I don't know if our women do not notice the average black man. The average black man is sitting around. Yes, the fact that they ain't got time to be all flashy in your face because they're too busy trying to work. They're too busy trying to build something. They're too busy trying to protect what they got. They're too busy doing all of that stuff, but they are around. I'll tell one more quick story before I get onto these rest of these questions from you ladies. One of the doctors in the ER was like completely like awestruck over one of the black nurses. He wanted this nurse so bad, and she knew it, he knew it. And I asked her, I said, why aren't you giving Dr. Such and Such some play? She looked at me and she goes, I ain't trying to mess up my job. Excuse me? That brother.
How you doing?
Yeah, that 37-year-old brother who worked his butt off to put himself through medical school, he looked at you and wanted you, and you worried about a job that in 3 years he's gonna have his own practice, and you could be his head nurse, keeping all that money in house and popping out his kids, and you could have some trust fund kids in a couple years, and you worried about some stinking nursing job.
Come on, but get your man, girl.
But let me tell you something. Who's all over this brother right now. Becky with the system.
Becky with the good hair. So Becky know what's up.
Becky with the system. Becky with the sister booty is all over this man. She dang near been sitting in his lap sometime. I'd be like, can you please like leave? Get this man some time to breathe. He ain't paying her no attention because he wants a sister. Mm-hmm. But how long you expect that man to wait?
Mm-hmm. Yep, and them 3 years gonna pass, and she gonna still be at that job. He had his own practice with Becky, and then she gonna be like, all he wanted was that white girl. Now he wanted you, but you was sitting there looking stupid.
Absolutely. So belonging to you, I think that's an important distinction for your man to feel. No, we're not talking about like possessional thing, but we want to feel like you belong to us. And I'm telling you right now, your brothers don't feel that way.
Yeah.
They don't feel like that. Even your regular old, let me tell you something. I'm going to say to my monologue, a regular old brother is a hell of a brother.
I didn't realize that until I was older. I wanted, I come from a big city, and at a time of rappers and, the girlfriend or the girl they was with, just dressing up and being on scene and being seen with them. Mm-hmm. So I believe that's what I wanted. That's what I saw. I want that right there. Until I got older and saw that those relationships were volatile. Those relationships didn't last long. And as I got older, I was like, no, I want Bob from accounting who got his stuff together and is quiet. Don't laugh at me, but you know what I'm saying, right? Yeah, right. He stays to himself. Nobody's all up in his business, to the point that the relationship wouldn't be a secret, but it would still be private. Okay. It took me a while. But you live and you learn.
All right. I got 2 more questions in this sec. Actually, I got more than 2 more questions, but I'm gonna ask 2 more questions, and I got to move on to the next section because we're I don't want to run out of time here. And I'm gonna Miss Kendra down there. I'm actually gonna bring you up in a little bit for this particular question, but here's a question for the ladies: why is it important to you for your man to be your partner?
I think it's very important for my man to be my partner because it was times where I was in a relationship and I felt alone, like I had to take over the weight, and I'm young still. So it's like it was overwhelming because it felt like after a while we was just being a leech because I'm doing everything in my power to make sure everything good, but you just stringing me along and doing you. That's why I feel like it's really
Jasmine, you're 27.
24.
You're 24. And how old was this fella?
He was he's 26, so he was 2 years older than me. He was 23.
And you felt like you
21.
He was what?
He was 23 and I was 21.
He was 21, 23-year-old. What 23-year-old man do you know that's got his stuff financially together?
I was young. I didn't know better.
Let me tell you something. And if I can have one thing for our Black women to do and to take out of your dialogue, the statement, I was young. I was young does not excuse a poor decision.
Okay.
Because and here's the thing, and I had a conversation about this with somebody else about, I tell a lot of our ladies, you're 23, 24 years old women, your husband is not in your age bracket. Because that brother isn't there yet. He isn't there yet. I remember what I was doing at 23 years old. Not enough to have no wife. I had 3 roommates, and I used to recycle bottles to buy ramen noodles and stuff, and to to try to get food and pay rent.
I agree. I agree with you, TJ, when you say that he's not in our age group. Just to think back, I had I guess a boyfriend, a partner that was about 10, maybe 11 years my senior, and my mom could not stand him, but I was like, I want him because he already had everything together. I would think I was about 20, 21. He already had everything together. He had the house, the car, everything, a great job. So, and I was like, I don't have to worry about him saying he can't. That's one thing I hated growing up was that I can't do. If I ask you,
don't no woman want no man go to their man and he say I can't.
Yeah, like
that ain't got nothing to do with no age. That's across the board. I mean, you have Miss Lisa down here, 61 years old. If her man came to her, she go to her man with something. She don't want to hear I can't. So I talk to guys like that. I say, don't ever tell your woman you can't. Even if you can't, don't tell her you can't. You tell her, I'll figure it out.
Yes.
Yeah, that probably would go over smoother than, I can't. Not right now.
I can't.
I'll let you know.
No. Your job is I can't. Yeah.
Yeah, don't tell me you can't. That's like saying just no, period.
Yeah. And so you come back to the I can't when you've gone out and done everything you could. Then you come back. But you come back with the here's what I've done, here's what I've tried. I ain't got no other avenues. Baby, do you got any other suggestions? That's where the helpmate comes in at. But I want to get back to the question. I'm going to bring up Miss Kendra. Why is it so important for most of our women to feel like they're partners with their men? Oh, Miss Kendra, you're muted. I'm sorry.
I'm muted. I keep muting myself. I'll say this. After my separation, one of the main reasons or one of the main things that I look for in a person now is a friend. I need someone who I can rely on as a friend because that is where our foundation is going to come in. That allows us to be partners, to be able to discuss any and everything. I want him to be able to be fully who he is, and I want to be able to be fully who I am. So in order for us to come together and to be successful in a relationship, we've got to be partners, and partners should be able to share who they are completely.
Okay. Miss Kendra, I don't have your sheet in front of me. You have children, right?
Yes.
Okay. Partners. Okay. So let me ask this question. Do you think a man should be responsible for his woman and his family?
Yes.
So if I have to be responsible for my woman and my family, how is that person my partner when I'm responsible for you?
We're working together. So I say that too. I don't expect for a man to, it just depends. I think it depends on the person, because everybody's going to be different. You're not going to have any two people that are exactly the same. So whatever situation or whatever person you choose, y'all have to determine what that means for you.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna push a little bit on this one. So you have children, right?
Yes.
Okay, and you're responsible for your children, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are your children your partners?
They're not my partners. That's a different relationship, though. My children that's a different relationship.
And see, and where I'm looking at for our men, when we look about responsibility and being responsible, we don't really look at you like you're our children, but we protect you like you are.
Okay. I can see that, but you still have to have that. I think that's where the breakdown a lot of times comes in, right? So you have one person expecting one thing out of a relationship and another person expecting another thing. If you're not able to communicate effectively on what both of you need out of the relationship, then again, you're together, you have a relationship, you have a man, you have a woman, but how fulfilled are you in that relationship?
And one of the things that we're not doing on a regular basis is having these hard conversations about what that looked like. And I'll tell any lady that and some women get offended by this. You're not my partner. That doesn't mean you're less than. That doesn't mean you're less than me. That doesn't mean you're not as valuable to the situation. You're just not my partner. I'm responsible for you. You're not my partner. But a lot of men with old school way of thinking, they look at their woman as people that they have to make sure is okay. I got to make sure you are okay. Therefore, I'm not looking at you as my quote unquote partner. I talked to my great grandmother, my actual grandmother before she passed away a few years ago, because her and my grandfather are married for 60 years. And I talked to her about the term partner, and she literally got offended. But even though she had to work, bring home a check, and help with the financial load in the house, they had 6 kids. She never looked at my grandfather as her partner. She goes, "That's not my partner. That's my husband." And
so can I ask you how you define partner?
Partnership to a lot of men, when we hear the word partner, we hear 50-50. We're on the same page, the same level, meaning that if we're both the drivers of this car. And that's how we hear it. When we hear partner, we hear that. We hear somebody who wants to be, a co-CEO with me. I don't want a co-CEO. There's only one captain of this ship, and that's me. That doesn't mean your role as my helpmeet or my support system. This is kind of how I, and this is a little bit extreme analogy, but if we in the house and we got kids, something goes bump in the night, or somebody wants to try to come through that door, I'm going to go see about that first. If there needs to be a tussle, I'm going to do that tussle. Your job is to get you and them children out of there. You are only to fight if I fall. You're the last line of defense.
It's
for
like
the family.
It's like why? Why?
What?
Why so? Why? Why is the woman the second line of defense? Why is the woman the second line of defense? It's like you want a silent partner. Like she's there.
She's the last line of defense. It's not about being in the background.
Why is she the
it's about responsibility. I'm responsible for the safety and the provision of everybody. You're responsible for the development of our legacy, which is our children. If I fall, I still need you here to develop that legacy. So I don't want you sitting up there fighting toe to toe with me with some other man. I want you out the way protecting my children. If you fighting toe to toe with me, who's protecting the kids? Now, you know, when you got 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old kids, they're hard to wrangle in times of crisis. And if they're not have somebody there to wrangle them, to get them to safety, to get the to move them along, huh?
I beg to differ because I grew up in a 2-parent home, my mother and my father who are married, and there was a time when we had to get up and go. And my father was there, you know, my father was there, my mother was there, but it was her who decided to do the fighting and make sure we got to where we needed to be to get out of that situation. Though he was there, he was the second line. I mean, as an adult now, looking back at the situation we had to deal with, he was the second line of defense. His role didn't change as to who he was and what he was to provide for his family, but he made sure we were okay. He made sure us, you know, my brothers and sisters were okay. But my mother is the one that got us up and out of there and fought through the whole situation to make sure that we were where we needed to be as a family and that we were all together. So I don't think that as it is now, how things are now, I think it would be it's not even 50-50 when it comes to a woman and her partner in a Black relationship, because of how I wouldn't say that it would be 50-50. I can't do 50-50. My thing is first is I'm taking care of everything. I think a male's ego more so drives him to be the ego and provide.
I don't think it has anything to do with the ego, but more so how we're structured. We're structured for that. I don't want you in my house having to feel like you need to take care of everything. I need you relaxed. I need you not stressed. And this might not be pleasant for a lot of ladies. Your job is me and the family. That's it. And I want to provide a situation where that's where you feel. I don't want you in there doing this hard work and heavy lifting. There's this saying, pressure is made for shoulders, not hips. That's why our backs are wider. That's why we're stronger.
If that was the case, then men will have the babies then, because our hips take the pressure of they. Yeah. Our hips bear children. You can't sit here and tell me that you can take that. That's a pressure that's measurable and men cannot handle.
That's a biological thing. We're talking about the pressures of
biologically, we are used to the pressure.
Let me tell you something. There's nothing more unsettling than a woman under stress in a home. If a woman is under stress in the home is under stress. I can't have you that which means that yes, no, you are not side by side in those stressful situations. It's my job. Go ahead, Ms. Kendra.
I think it kind of falls down to this as well. Whatever you grew up knowing and expecting is what kind of how you have to learn to partner together. I think that, I mean, I get what you're saying, because I grew up in a household that was very much that way. My mother didn't work until we were in middle school, right? My dad took care of everything. So I'm very familiar with that analogy of how life is. And that's how I was taught how life is supposed to be. When I got married, it was different, right? So at first, I was expecting my husband to be who my father was, because my father was this way. So I expected our relationship to be the same thing, and it wasn't. And it took me years to get to a place of understanding that you can't expect the same thing. I think what you're saying is definitely very how men are created, how women are created. When we look back to the biblical, creation, that is exactly what it is, right? Like, men are made to see straight ahead. Women see everything. So we should be able to come in where a man needs help, right? we come in order for us to know how to help you. We have to know everything that you need, right? So I think that there's definitely a partnership there, though, in order for us to be able to come together and be successful in a relationship. I think you can try to put parameters on it. And I think that's where a lot of men now feel all of that pressure, because they do feel like, hey, I have to do this and I have to do it on my own. I don't expect any man to do anything on his own. I'm here, right? Lean on me as well. We have to be there for each other. If I can't trust you, if you can't trust me to be here for you, then what good am I? I'm not able to be your helpmeet. I'm not able to be who I need to be for you as a woman if you feel like I'm just your responsibility. Does that make sense?
Yes, but that's where I talk about your job is me and the family. Even though you may have to go out and work work outside of the home, your primary responsibility is to us and to be that and to provide an atmosphere for that leaning on when the man needs to leave. He's supposed to be able to come home to his woman and get decompression, especially your black man. The war, I think you guys know we fight wars, but I don't think you understand how deep those wars go. You have no idea. You know what I mean? A lot of you, some of you may see it on your jobs with some of these black men that, when you get their supervisors trying to little boy them. Yeah. Trying to little boy them in front of people, trying to emasculate them in front of you. I had a supervisor one time when we were working in the office. I was one of 2 or 3 black men in the office that worked in the office. And I was very social with the sisters in the building. In the division. I'm a big fan of trying to, at least in the work environment, have some harmonious, trust amongst people that look like me, even the ladies. My supervisor came to me one day and she was like, "You need to keep your harem away from your desk." It's my supervisor. How do you think I responded to that?
No.
This is my supervisor.
Yeah.
I looked that woman dead in her face. I said, "First, let's get one thing straight, lady. Don't you ever refer to those black women as a harem. They're not a bunch of hoes circling me. Second of all, don't ask the one of 2 only black men in this department to not talk to his black women. That will never happen." And I said to her, "I don't know who the hell you think you hired, but I'm not that dude." Now, a lot of brothers wouldn't do that, you know what I mean, because they're jeopardizing their job. But there are some things in my world that are beyond a paycheck. Mm-hmm. So, all right, let me move on to the next couple questions. All right. Should you compete for a man?
No.
Why are you saying no? Why are you saying no?
Compete?
It's already a competition. It's already a competition because you're not the only one that man is that's looking at that man. So it's a competition.
Every woman that shook her head, I just brought her up right away. Why don't you think
I'll say this. Men are natural hunters. Y'all know what you want.
Right.
Exactly.
So, and women likewise. If a man, why should I have to? I'm not going to compete. Because,
why not?
For what?
It's already
I don't have to compete.
What do you mean you don't have to? Why don't you think you gotta compete?
You don't know you in one.
You're competing anyway. You're competing anyway.
I'm not competing.
Even if you don't see who the competition is, you still competing because you see that you saw come out the barbershop and he looking real clean cut and whatever. You're not the only one that saw him, so it's a competition anyway.
He's not the only one who saw me, right?
You're not, but you just don't see your opponent. So it's a competition whether you realize it or not. So yeah, you gonna put.
I think if a man chooses, if that's what you want someone else, then go to someone else. I'm not competing for you. I'm not. I don't have to.
Ms. Jasmine, I gotta mute you for a second because there's a lot of feedback.
You're not gonna knowingly compete for someone, but nevertheless, you're still competing for them.
Right.
I don't understand. Like I gave the example of the Becky with the sister booty with the doctor. She know that doctor wants that black nurse, and what does she do every day? She wear very tight scrubs. She put on perfume. She's always in his space. And this woman then changed her schedule to make sure she working when this doctor's working. You think that woman ain't competing?
She's choosing to compete.
It's always
but he's not choosing her. He's still looking at the other nurse.
I mean,
that woman gonna wear him down.
When a man wants to settle down, he will settle down with what he wants to do. If I have to compete for you, that means I'm going to be competing for the rest of my life. If I have to come, if I'm worried about, okay, so if she wears something tight, what about the next lady who wears something tighter the next day? If that's what you want, go get that girl with the tight thing on, or with nothing, whatever it is. I'm not going to compete with that, because that means what it does to the woman is it's going to wear us down, because we're constantly wondering, oh my God, what do I need to do? How am I going to make him happy? How do I need to change myself to make him want me? No, if you don't want me and you appreciate me for who I am.
Why don't you want to give your guys something to be excited about?
Oh, I do. And I will, but I don't have to compete for that.
You know, but men have got to compete for you.
They don't have to. I mean, if they choose to,
they don't have to.
They don't have to.
They don't choose to.
If I'm attracted to a man and he gets my attention, then he has my attention.
Well, everything with the man is a competition. We already know that. We ain't got no problem with we ain't got no problem with no competing, but competing from a female level. Let me explain something like that. Becky with the sister booty. So I'll just call her Becky.
Sister booty, I love it.
Because she do. The girl. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Where they making y'all at like that now in the factory? They now. But when this particular nurse wasn't even, that doctor was not on her radar until she understood he wanted that other nurse.
So she created competition.
Oh yeah, well, but she decided. Well, maybe I'm just assuming, because I don't know and I don't talk to her about it, because I'm not talking to Becky about nothing. But maybe in her mind she thought she just could have him because she just worked in the department with him. But the moment that she knew that there was another, I don't think she understands that the doctor doesn't want that lady. But she's competing. She's putting herself out there. She's making herself physically appealing. This woman, I saw her last week. This woman brought in soul food for this doctor.
I think it goes back to what you said, though. The doctor doesn't want her. He doesn't want her.
Right now, Sister Becky ain't a bad looking white girl. He don't want her right now.
And if his attention happens to go that way because the other one doesn't want her.
Because his sisters keep rejecting him.
He's giving attention. That's to him.
He's
that's
going
like
to
you're
go.
Not going to speak to somebody that's not speaking to you. Somebody say hello, you're going to respond and say hello. You're going to give attention to what's the attention that's given to you. TJ, you might just be that man that just ignore the person that say hello.
Who, me? I speak to everybody.
He's going.
I'm a big fan of going where you want it. A lot of times because our women, think that in general think that they Miss Kendra think like you think that why should I have to compete? But men want to be desired too. And competition from a woman is different than competition from a man to a woman. It's different. It looks different. But to sit there, let me ask you this question. Is there a kind of man that is worth competing for?
And maybe I think we're getting caught up, or maybe I'm getting caught up on the word, right? So to me, compete is like, okay, you've got these two ladies here, and both of us are going in for this one man. Mm-hmm. I hear you saying, I appreciate, there's any black man who's ever met me, right? I'm going to appreciate you. I'm going to respect you. I'm going to treat you as a king. I don't care whether we're in a relationship or what. That's just my nature to honor and to respect the man, right? Mm-hmm. But it's like you said, I'm not going to go somewhere where I'm not wanted. if I can feel, and that's, I have a very different view of relationships, because I don't care to meet someone off bat and then, oh, I want this person to be my man. I don't know if I want you to be my man, because I don't know you well enough. I need to see how you are and see who you are. And I want you to see how I am and see who I am before we decide that we need to be in a relationship together. You're not getting a title without me knowing who you are, without me knowing those things, because that's where a lot of this misconception and things like that comes from. It's because people are just basing it off of, you're going into a relationship off of menial things. I like how you look. I like how you cook. I like the clothes you wear. Things of that nature. That's going to go away. You know that person on a different level. So yeah, I think the competition, to me, and I hear what you're saying, and I completely agree with that. That should be, I'm going to honor, I'm going to respect, regardless. So that it's not like he's not going to get that from me. I'm just not going to, if you're looking for me to come to you and you're giving your attention to 10 different women, give it to 10 different women, but I'm not yours. I'm not going to compete per se for that, because you know what you want. You know what you want.
Fair enough. One final question. Hold on, ladies. One final question for this segment, for this section, then we got to move on to the value of strong, independent woman section. One question. Okay. Every last one of you, I think, except for one, stated that Black women shouldn't settle. Why in the world do you think you shouldn't have to settle?
I don't think anybody should have to settle.
Why?
Because when you settle for something, then you're taking less than you think you're worth.
Why? Why do you think that?
Because to settle is to make yourself content with things that are okay, but not exactly what you want. To settle is like saying, okay, I can't have what it is that I want in my life, so then I should just deal with what I can get. And I don't think anyone's happy in that situation.
Miss Lisa,
nobody wants to. Go ahead.
Have you are you currently still working?
No.
You're not working. No. When was the last time you were in a career or in a job?
7 years ago.
About 7 years ago. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I understand the initial reaction to not wanting to, quote unquote, settle. But I don't understand is realigning your expectations. I don't understand how that is settling. None of us are going to get everything we want.
And I agree with that. And realigning your expectations is not settling, as far as I'm concerned.
But I mean, settling, by definition, not getting what you want is considered settling. None of us. Let me tell you something. If you're not with the first person you slept with, you settled.
I don't see it that way.
I think it's more so of what you're settling for and whom you're settling for. Because it's just not going to be a Joe Blow. Oh, he cute. Oh, what happened?
Yeah, some of you ladies.
There we go.
Some of you ladies made the statement on here. I asked, would you stay with a man who made significantly less money than you? And a good number of you said no. But what if that man was the man that's ordained for you, but he made significantly less money than you and you wouldn't keep him? Is that settling because you got because of his profession?
I don't see it that way. I don't see, if he makes less money than I do, but he's a good man and he takes care of his home and he looks out for the things that a man is supposed to look out for in a relationship, that's not settling.
Right.
Yeah.
And he taking care of home.
What do you guys consider? I mean, maybe you guys answered and I just didn't hear it clearly. What do you guys consider settling?
For me, I think settling there. So I think everyone has their basic needs for them. in a relationship. If you have to go against those basic things, then I think you're settling, right? So let's say if I say my basic thing is that you work, right? Like, I'm not saying how much you make or anything like that, but just period, just that you work. And then if I find someone, it's like, okay, this person doesn't work, and I settle for that, then eventually that's going to be a problem because that's something that I believe that people should do, right? Like, you're bringing in money some kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be an issue for us long term. And I know it is because I'm not going to be happy. I'm going to be questioning in the back of my mind, oh, this person's not doing this, we're not doing this. So I think that you have to, so settling, I don't think it goes to a place of, we all have our lists, right? Lists of things that we would like to happen. Things that these are things that I would like to have. These are things that I must have. If you go against those things that you must have, and only you know what that list is, only you know what that looks like. But if you go against that, then you just have to be willing to deal with what the reality of that is for the rest of your life, if that's who you choose to marry, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. I want to move on to the next section. We're going to talk about strong, independent Black woman. I do have a question. I want to ask, where'd she go? Miss Demetria. And I want to ask Miss Jasmine. I'll be right back with you, Miss Kendra. This is good. Let me see. Put that down. Hello, ladies. Listen. So when there's this new term, I don't know if it's a new term or maybe I'm just old, but I hear a lot of sisters say, what do Black women mean by when they say I'm a whole vibe? What does that mean?
That you the whole package.
What
everything going on for yourself?
Huh?
High vibe. She has high vibrations.
She has high vibrations. What does that mean?
The whole package.
Hold on a second, Miss Jasmine. Something's wrong with your audio. It's like thumping. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Miss Jasmine, do me a favor. Log out and log back in, okay? All right. So now say that again, Mr. Misha. What does it mean by a whole vibe? I don't understand. Is it get you the whole package?
So nowadays, when people say their whole vibe, it's like saying I'm the full package. I got everything going on for myself. I'm the baddest of the baddest. That's what people mean when they say that.
That they the baddest of the baddest.
Yeah.
But you're a whole vibe.
Yeah.
So what does that mean for a man when he hears that? I mean, how should we take that?
Well, I can't say how a man's gonna take that when he hear it, but I guess when people say that, they're just letting you know, you come over here, it's gonna be a fun ride.
A fun ride, yeah. A lot of brothers don't mind a fun ride.
It's gonna be.
I'm just saying. I mean, is that all we?
No, it's not all that you should look for. I think when people say that, their whole vibe, you got to really sit down and look at the principles. Like, for me, if I was to say that, I'm going to say maybe I'm a whole vibe because I do whatever I need to do to make sure that my responsibilities are met. I pay all my bills. I take care of myself. I take care of my business. I take care of my family when I need to and things of that nature. I held my responsibilities and I hold them well. So that's what I would say.
So you're a whole vibe if you're being an adult.
That's what a lot of people would classify it to be. You take care of your responsibilities nowadays. That's what we say in our age category. Is it right to say it like that? No, because you're just doing what you're ultimately supposed to do. Be grown.